Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, a big welcome to you. My name is Shelly. So today I'm going to show you how to interlock your locks properly and also address a couple common interlocking mistakes that we normally make. So I'm going to go straight into it. So what do you need to interlock your hair? You need a locking tool. I'm going to be using a needle. You can use a crochet hook. You can use your fingers. You need something to wet your hair. I'm going to be using a water, and I like the spray bottle, continuous spray sprout. I got this on Amazon. I'll put a link where you can get that below. I'll also link the cheapest needle that I can find. I think I paid too much for this. You need a comb with a pointy tail, if you're going to make nice neat parts. And also, when I'm done, I take the frizz and I wrap it around the lock. So I use the Imani locking spray to hold that into place. So let's get straight into how I do this. So I've left out a couple lock to show you. So this one we'll use first. So first of all, you want to wet your roots. You can use water, you can use a leave-in spray, or if you already just finished washing your hair and your hair is already damp or wet, then you don't need another product. Okay, so I make sure that my roots, my new growth is damp. So I then go and put the lock inside my locking needle. And really, seriously, it's really important that you never do your hair on dry locks, because you don't want to damage your locks. So my locking needle, super love this thing. It makes it so easy. So I take the lock and I put it through the big hole. Okay, hopefully you can see that. All right, and then I take the lock and I push it all the way to the end so that it's taut and it can't slide off, right? Okay, so another important tip, never go through the same hole twice, right? So I'm going to start at the bottom of my my new growth, and I'm going to take my needle. Hopefully you can see. I'm going to take my needle, put it in my new growth, right? And the first thing you want to do is to make sure that when you put it in, you push it all the way to the end where you last interlocked, where your new growth end, right? All the way to the bottom. Because what you don't want to happen is you don't want to interlock your root and then this middle part here does not get interlocked properly, right? So we're going to put the needle in, push it all the way to the end, and then you're going to pull it through, right? So remember, I went from the bottom up, right? So now I'm going to go in a different direction. And you never want to go through the same hole twice. You can already see a gap, so you can see that this is the way I went. So you don't want to do that, right? You want to go in a different direction. So I'm going to go from the front to the back, right? And then now I'm going to go from top down, so always in a different direction, right? Then I'm gonna go from the back to the front, or I could have went front to back. Just always go in a different direction and never the same hole twice. Now another mistake I want to show you, so I want to make sure you're paying attention. So when you put your needle in, you want to make sure that your lock is is pulled away from you, because what can happen is, let's pay attention. What can happen is the lock can accidentally go around the needle and you pull it through, and now what you did was make a knot at your root. I'm scared to do it, so I can't undo it, but I'm hopefully you can see what I mean. If your needle is not away from you, you basically literally tie a knot at your root, and you don't want to do that. So always make sure that the hair is away from the needle, and then you pull it through. And you see, me trying to show you this is causing problems. So let's do it again. All right. And just pull it through. So I went up, and now I'm going to go front to back. And because I haven't done my hair in such a long time, I have to go a couple more times than maybe somebody who did this not too long ago. So I like when I still have some new growth at the root. I don't like when my hair is too tight, and I don't think you should do your hair too tight. So I'm done pretty much with interlocking this lock. But if you look at my my hair, I have a lot of like frizz and stuff. So what I like to do is damp it a little bit and take the frizz and wrap it around the lock to make it neat. Yeah, you see that? So now it looks neat and manicured. And then I take my locking spray and I spray the shaft, spin it around a little bit, and this basically like holds it in place for a really long time. And if you see, it looks super neat and nice and interlocked. So I'm gonna show you one more time. So let's grab another one that I haven't done yet. So let's grab this one. And also I want to highlight that you should never interlock your hair unless you have enough new growth to do so. So rule of thumb, never interlock your hair unless you can comfortably fit 2 fingers inside of your lock. So right now, if you see, I can fit 2 fingers comfortably inside of my new growth. That is when you know you can interlock your hair. I always get asked, how often should I interlock my hair? And I always say never to go by the calendar, because every month your hair might grow differently, right? So always use the 2-finger rule. So stick your finger in, and if you can fit 2 fingers in, then it's time for you to interlock your hair. So I'm going to show you one more time. So I'm taking my spray bottle and I'm damping my roots. So you just basically make sure that you take all of your hair that you want to be in one lock, right? Use your comb and make parts if you feel like it to make it neat. If neatness is important to you, take your locking tool. I'm using my locking needle. Push it through the big hole, and then pull it straight across so that it's taut, right? And it can't slide off. And then you make sure that you never go into the same hole twice. So I'm going up, and you always make sure that you push your needle all the way down till you can't go anymore, because you don't want to leave gaps in your locks. So I'm going to go from the front to the back, from the back to the front, and again push it down so that I'm interlocking the entire thing. And then I'm gonna go from the top down, and that is called a 4-point rotation. You're gonna go again from the front to the back, always in a different direction. And then I always like for the last loop to be where I like my hair to lay. So I like my hair to lay flat this way. So that's why I have like a center part. So that's what I like to do. I could probably go one more time actually. Oh, and let me show you something. So you see how I have like a little hole here. It's not a hole, but you know, like I can see where I last did the interlock. Now, the mistake that a lot of people make is not paying attention and then go through this hole again one more time. And that's when you develop like holes in your lock. So if you see like something like this, and you're not, and you still want to interlock some more, you make sure you go in the other direction. So if I go front to back, you'd realize that now you got rid of that opening, right? So if you see, now it's more closed up. Can you see that? So you really have to pay attention, and that's why I say never interlock your hair if you're tired, because you really have to pay attention. So now you see, I've interlocked my lock. It looks neat. It's done properly. There's no holes or anything. But it's super frizzy and doesn't look, you know, neat and like I just did my hair, right? So I take my spray bottle and spray the shaft of the lock. And then I take the frizz. I'm really hoping you can see this. I take the frizz and I just wrap it around the lock. Hopefully you can see that. See? I'm just wrapping the frizz all around the new growth. I mean, sorry, all around the shaft of the lock. And then I spin it a little bit. And then I take my Imani locking spray and I spray the shaft of the lock where I wrap the frizz around. You know, give it a little spin a little bit. And if you look, see, it's super neat, manicured, and the locking spray, which I super love. I love this locking spray. It would really hold the lock in place. With the locking spray, you don't need gels and all that stuff, even if you don't interlock, because it does a really good job of holding your retwist. So I showed you how to do it on two locks. I feel like you've really gotten the idea. But what I do want to show you before we go is what to do if you don't have if you don't have any needle or any locking tool. So I'm gonna show you how you can do this with your finger. So you're gonna again make sure that your root is damp and you can fit 2 fingers in. I don't know if you realize, but I can fit exactly 2 fingers in this one. The rest of the locks that I interlocked and showed you, I had a lot more new growth. So that's to show you that you can't go by the calendar and you have to just go by your by your hair, because obviously some parts of my hair go faster than some. Okay, so you don't have a locking tool. What do you do, right? So I've realized that sometimes, you know, you don't need a tool. You can just use your finger. Do the same thing. You're gonna make sure that your hair goes in different directions. So I put my finger in, divide the 2 parts, right? And I take the end of my lock. You can see that. Take the end of my lock, and I'm gonna put it in, stick it in the middle, and pull it through, right? And you make sure that it's all the way at the end, and you're not making any gaps, right? Then you're going to take your finger again. You use your fingernail or your finger and make a hole, right, in the middle. And now I'm going to go front to back. Remember, I went top down. Now I'm going to go front to the back. Okay. That is what you call a 2-way rotation. I'm only going 2 directions. I'm not going front, back, you know, up, down, right? All I did was to go from top to the bottom, and I did front to back. And I'm going to go in the exact same direction again. So I'm putting my finger in the middle, make sure that it's evenly divided in 2, right? And I'm going to put the end of my lock in between my fingers, and then I'm going to pull it through. I'm just showing you this just in case you do not have a tool and you want to use your finger. So back to this dividing thing that I told you about before. Always make sure that you go in the other direction, right? So we're going to go front to back. And you can already see that now I can only fit 1 finger, and I had to really stick my finger in there to do so. And then I'm going to pull it back. And this might be the last rotation I can do because I can't fit my finger in there anymore. And now you see there is no holes whatsoever, right? And it looks really good, right? Neat, right? But we also have these frizzies that we want to take care of. So, you know, make sure that it's damp. Take your frizz and wrap it around the shaft of your lock. I'm really hoping that you're really understanding what I'm doing and really taking to heart that you should really make sure that if you're going to interlock yourself, that you're doing it properly and educate yourself on how to do this. And again, I just wanted to show you how to do it without a tool, because some people just don't have a tool on hand and they want to try it. So if you see now, it looks neat. It looks manicured. You can't tell that I used that I used a tool or not. And my hair is interlocked and it looks really good. I've been interlocking for a really long time, so most of this is interlocked, and I think the end is probably, you know, the 2-strand twist that I started with. But people always ask me, does it thin my hair out? I don't think my hair looks thin, so I would say the answer to that is no. But I just wanted to show you guys how I do my hair, what I use, and address any concerns that you have. If I didn't, if you still have questions, put them below and I'll make sure that I answer everybody's comments. I normally do. I really do hope that this video was really helpful for you. Comment below. Let me know if you have any questions. Let me know, everybody. Let me know, have you ever interlocked your hair? And if you do, what tool do you use? I'm really interested to see if I'm the only one who uses needles and everybody else uses like hooks or something, or their finger. But I really do hope that this video was useful to you, and I see you guys in my next video.